It's all good for now. Much appreciated. Appreciate you, Ben. Let's see if we can get this bunny back on the screen. I don't know, dude. Like, back in the day... back in the day, I was having, like, mass gainers and eating just so much... Oh, Colby, you're a freaking rock star. Thank you so much for the support, dude. Oh, my God, Colby. Oh, God, look at you, spraying me in the face with all that. God damn these hype trains. Why do these hype trains so... Like, when do the hype trains begin? It still says hype train closed for me. Yo, well done, Colby. Thanks, man. I really appreciate the support. Where are you, bro? Mate, exclamation mark location and you'll see. Yeah, so Felix, I wouldn't be surprised if I was hitting about 5,000. Around 5,000, dude. Consistently for a number of months. I don't know, maybe like 3 months or something. No, 2 months. There was times where I was just filthily trying to put on weight, and it was the dirty-ass mass gainers. It was garbage food. It was just everything I could possibly do. It says one more person. Great math. Thank you. It says one more person. Oh, you can see it? Mukbang, yes. It needs to be one more person besides Bent and Colby. But bear in mind... Oh, absolutely not. It's not a lot what I'm currently having. Yeah, we're mukbanging right now. Samurai. This is a sweet potato, people. Sometimes I run, sometimes I hide, sometimes I'm scared of you. Okay, Jeffy, well, you shouldn't be doing any of that. Well, the running for the health, good, but don't be scared, Jeffy. We're all friends here. Oh, Ben, sorry. No worries, mate. Okay, Colby, I appreciate that, man. The support, bro. You're a freaking legend, man.
Caro donated 10. Get yourself a bunny on a leash.
Caro, you did not. Caro, you did not. And Colby simultaneously. Double whammy. Colby, thank you again, dude. You're a freaking rock star. Caro, you cheeky little thing. I'll see if I can continue the old sneaky spy cam. Do we have... Wait a minute. I might be able to do something. Hold on. Oh. Yeah. I need to put you guys really far away. Hold on. This will take me a moment. No, Spursy. No, there's like 20 subs going through or more, and no, it still hasn't got it. No, there's a rabbit behind me. Ah, the dude just grabbed it. Yeah, they're always wearing winter wear here, man. Unless it's like 30 degrees Celsius, everyone's like covered in jackets. Okay, Spurs. So just to clarify, Spurs, no, we're not doing your nasty ass thing. There's a rabbit who's running around back there. Mister. Hello, gorgeous. Hello. Hello. How kayo? No, I got you. Oh. Yes. We did it. We did it. Oh my god, the dude like picked it up. The dude picked it up, stood up, and the rabbit jumped out of his hands when he was standing fully upright, and it went flying, and he managed to catch it before it hit the ground. He literally like jumped down and grabbed it again, because it was like doink. It literally would have got to like 6-7 foot height, because he was like this, and it went flunk. No, Spoach, I would probably never sub. I don't know. I appreciate you, Noel. That's all good, man. You do whatever you feel like. No pressure. Kara, I feel like you just made that happen. You literally were like bunny on a lead, and then within seconds, the bunny comes running. Man, this bunny's like knows a thing or two about social media. It's doing a better job as a social media person than I am, because Ben also gave some subs and said for the bunny on the lead, and immediately it came running over. New poll, massive win, kind of weird. Not cool at all. Massive win. Kind of weird. I mean, the bunny seems to be having fun. It's just running around enjoying itself. To be honest, this bunny's getting more healthy activity than the majority of bunnies, if you think about it. So as long as it's not panicking or scared, and it doesn't seem to be. It's chilling by a tree right now. They're playing catch, and it's like chilling by a tree. So I'm going to say massive win. I think it's nice. The bunny's allowed out and running around, having some freedom. Yeah, the birds ones are tricky. The birds ones are very tricky. Because the problem is, it's not even that, like, walking on a lead is weird as freak. But the thing is, most people who have birds, even in Western countries, they get them clipped. Which means that, like, that's most pet birds are clipped. As in, they are flightless. They're no longer able to do what they do naturally. So, that's one of the sad elements about having a lot of people who have pet birds. Okay, Mister, I am from Australia. I have lived in Australia most of my life, but I've also lived in America. I've also lived in Asia. And I have began my streams about 2.5 years ago. I started in Australia. I since streamed in Australia for a period of time, then came to Taiwan, streamed here until my visa expired last time, and then went back to Australia, streamed there for a number of months, and then have since moved back to Taiwan and lived here for now a year. So I pretty much live between the two countries. Australia is the OG home. Taiwan is where my partner lives, where I like to live myself. But obviously, I will go between these two countries because my family's back in Australia. No worries, well, have a good one, mate. Get those juicy shoulders, bro. Oh, that's good to hear, Kara. Yeah, unfortunately, it's quite common. It's quite common, the old clipping of birds. In fact, there's a lot of animal species where it's pretty amazing what is still legally allowed. I mean, people will cut their dog's ears to different shapes because they think it looks cool, and that's still very common. People cut tails of dogs because they think it looks more aesthetic, and there's no benefit of it. They're just cutting tails and cutting ears because they think it's more aesthetic. Cut ears? Yeah. Dobermans, Great Danes, you would have seen it. You ever seen a Great Dane with pointy ears? It's not natural. They're cut. If you ever see, like, when they're walking around, they've got their spiky ears, that's they've been cut that way. Dobermans, they don't naturally have pointy ears. You know those dogs, those like tough guard dogs, they have the pointy ears? They're not natural. They're floppy-eared dogs. Some people they think it's more. That's true. We were talking about me living in the woods, basically, and how I consistently have deer, bears, etc. in my backyard. The student's main question was asking if I ever shoot them just because they're in my backyard. I think that's disadvantageous and cruel because I choose to live in the country where that was a big risk. Cool. And they think shooting them... What's your take? Well, I guess I've always looked at it as though you're kind of in the American version of my situation in Australia. I live in the outback of Australia where every single summer we will be inundated with some of the most dangerous snakes in the world, as in one bite and you're pretty much fucked unless you get to a hospital within like an hour. And we will do our absolute best to not kill them. We will try our best to get them and relocate them to another area. Now, if they've decided to choose our home as their home, it's pretty hard because they can make their way back. But we choose to try our best. But unfortunately, there have been occasions where, for example, we found like a brown snake, which is one of the most dangerous snakes in the world, under my bed. And at that point, you kind of have to, do what's right for the safety of everyone. The same way if you found a bear in your house, you probably would feel like, okay, this is a little bit too close to comfort. But I think it's absolutely ridiculous that people think that, it's like, a person gets attacked by a shark, right? Then they go out and kill the shark. It's like, the fuck? Like, that shark's just doing what it does. Why? Didn't a lady in Florida or something get eaten by a crocodile, an alligator recently, and they went and found it and killed it? It's like, can't you at least... They collected it, took it away, and killed it. It's like, collect it and relocate it. It's not like it's got this grudge where it's going to come back and hunt out the humans. Usually a shovel. Usually a spade, dude. No, not a golf club. There's no chance you got to hit it. Snakes are fast. They're obviously slippery. And they're very durable. Like, you could beat the shit out of a snake with rocks and stuff. It will keep them going for ages. You get a shovel and you go and take off its head. Yeah. Yeah, it just happened like a few weeks ago. I saw it on YouTube. There's some lady in a retirement village. They had an alligator. Anyone else seen this? I was like, that sounds very Florida. She was like walking her dog, and then the alligator came up and ate her. sad. Like, it would be terrifying, terrible way to go. I feel very sad for her and her family, but the alligator does what an alligator does. It's not like intentionally chose her. It didn't have a hit on her. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, Jella. Relocate. You don't just like go, well, whatever, the man-eating alligators over there, don't go there. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of land, move it somewhere else. Hold on 1 second, I just got my girl messaging. Okay, man, if a snake gets a smack on, he ain't getting back up. His brains is flat all over. But yeah, you would have to go under. What is your experience with snakes, Noel? Because you often speak with quite strong authority on topics which I swear you haven't had much interaction with. But I have been in the vicinity of a person with a shotgun blasting a snake with multiple rounds, and the thing is holes throughout it, just holes, bleeding, and that motherfucker is still running, well, not running, slithering, and trying to get you as you are just blowing it to pieces. If you cut a snake in half with a spade, it will still keep on coming. It's like a worm, you know, like how you break a worm and they stay alive. These things do not give up. They've survived for millions of years for a reason. These bastards just don't stop. They're like a cockroach. Now, sure, if you had the most amazing aim, you're fantastic at golf, you're Tiger Woods, and maybe, yeah, if you were like, duh! But I could assure you, you wouldn't want to miss or hurt it, because the moment it's aware of you, you're going to be pretty concerned. If you cut a snake's head off, they will still remain alive for a little while. Like, I've seen it. I've done it myself. As I said, I don't enjoy the process. My family and I are very much like animals, but unfortunately, sometimes they will make holes under our house, and it means they're starting a family there, and you just can't have it. There's nothing else you can do. Even if you try and get rid of them, they will come back, and you just got to end it. And if you spade it, cut it off its head will still be like, it's terrifying. Are you talking about? Okay, so yes, there is the whip cracking. I too have heard of it, and I believe, in fact, my grandparent, who grew up on a property, there was always a story that he had done it, where he had gone and picked up a snake and cracked it. But again, it's one of these things where, like, you could do it, but if you fail, in which there's a more than likely chance you will, you are completely screwed. Imagine picking up like a big ass snake and you're like, and it's just like, because these things are strong, they're not floppy. If you hold it like this, a snake will. The sort of thought of the people who don't understand snakes is kind of like it's like a sock or something. It just like cannot do anything. It can whip around. It's got bone throughout it. You know, it's got its spine the whole way through it. It can bend around and still grab your arm, and you're just pissed it off. You grab it by. Okay, so we've had snake catchers. So one of the ways we get rid of them, if we're unable to deal with it, we'll get a snake catcher who's a professional. And yeah, so amazingly how they do it is, yeah, with the head. They go grab it by the head. But they're also not whipping it, they're relocating. I love these topics. I love these topics, man. Everyone's like, we're all talking about these like hypothetical things that we've sort of heard along the grapevine since we were kids. We're like, I think if you grab the snake like this and shake it around. Actually, I just started Cocaine Bear. Anyone seen it yet? It just came out. I started watching it last night. I haven't finished. But they do the exact same thing with that. They're like, do we run or do we stand for a bear? Are we meant to run from it or are we meant to fight it? And I was like, I think we should fight it. Yeah, I don't give spoilers, don't worry. I've worked in the film industry. I never give spoilers. Ni hao. Mm-hmm. You watch it in the cinema. I'm happy that there's those kind of films still coming out every now and again. Silly, stupid, just entertaining. It's a good movie. Interesting. I'm about halfway through. I didn't get to finish it last night. I'm about halfway through. And I was a little... I felt... I didn't think it was as funny as I had hoped. I hoped it to be funny. Funnier. But it's still, just dumb comedy. See, Ben, I think one of my greatest fear would be being locked in a panic room. The thought of, something going wrong, the electricity cutting off and your backup generator's not working well, that sounds like a horrible way. Getting stuck there. And back in the day, when I was earlier here in Taiwan, I think was I streaming back? No, I wasn't streaming back then. I got locked in a tiny little elevator. I was relatively new to Taiwan, and I moved into an old building where they had pretty much an elevator which could only fit 2 people. It's like one of those old cage ones where you pull the cage, you push the trigger kind of thing, and it's tiny. No cameras, no mirrors, no lights, nothing. It's just a tiny cage thing. And it broke while I was in there, and everything in there was in Chinese. I couldn't speak Chinese. I was like, oh my fucking God, I'm gonna die. If it's brown, lay down. If it's black, fight back. If it's white, good night. That's funny. They use that line. They said something like that. If it's brown, lay down. If it's black, fight back. Yeah, they said something like that. They're like, do we fight it? and they said that little rhyme. Mister, well, so I've been in Australia and filmed there for over a year. Now, the majority of the time I was based in my outback ranch for Americans, farm, station, wherever you are in the world. So my family owns farmland, but I also have a city house. So I've streamed for a large portion of the time in the middle of nowhere in the deserts, which gives quite a different vibe from, I guess, this kind of stream. But I've also streamed in some of the cities, or city, Melbourne. I just haven't really had the opportunity to get to the rainforest and stream. I would love to. I would absolutely love to travel in Australia. I have that on my to-do list. People say, what are goals? What are streaming goals? Here's a streaming goal. I literally want to get a caravan and drive around Australia and document. But Australia is very expensive, and I would need to have saved a good amount of money to be able to pull that off, because that's expensive as freak. 5 people in an elevator, not ideal. Did anyone kind of get in a panicky mode? I had a pretty bad one. When I was younger, we have a large cold room. A cold room is, you may have seen like maybe in Rocky movies where he's punching the meat. That's a cold room. It's like a massive refrigerator which you can walk into. We have one on our farm. it's a common thing for farmers to have because you store like a lot of meat because it's a long time to get into cities and collect food. So usually you want to store a lot for a long period of time. I went in the cold room with my mum and my sister thought it'd be funny to put the lock on the thing, like an actual deadlock. Don't ask me why, but she actually locked us in there and there's no lights inside. So we're inside a cold room, which is freezing, and she put the lock on, which I can assure you was not a pleasant situation. No worries, Jayla. You do what you gotta do. Your mum's sense of humor is strange. No, my mum and I were locked in. My sister locked us in. Coming home in the dark and you hear what, for lack of a better word, sounds like a woman getting mistreated. Mountain lions. See, that's a crazy thing. That's crazy. Like, it's funny that everyone's always talking about, like a lot of people say, oh, I'm too afraid to go to Australia, all those crazy animals. I'd much rather face off with a poisonous snake than a freaking bear in the Canadian forest. I'd much rather face, a jellyfish which is gonna hurt like fuck, but instead of a mountain lion hunting me down. I feel like you guys still have some pretty crazy stuff over there. Yeah, I don't really get it, Spursy. What's the deal? Like, I don't understand why people are so afraid of Australia in comparison to that situation. Misha, what's going on, legend? Welcome to the family. Thanks so much for the follow. How you doing, Misha? Well, that's my point. Like, sure, they may not usually want to do it, but they could. And at least with like snakes and stuff, okay, if you see a snake, you just got to avoid it. It's gonna be a dick. You just gotta avoid it. If you see a venomous spider, just avoid it. It's gonna be a dick. But then you guys are kind of walking in these forests, and you're like, now there could be a bear. Now it shouldn't attack us. It should, if you see it, just take a picture, but don't get too close to it. It's like, well, you have no idea what's going to happen. This thing, it may be a dick and it may not be. I'd much rather guarantee know what's going to happen and be prepared for it. And possibly Bigfoot. Have we had any reports that people have been killed or attacked by Bigfoot? Bigfoot isn't like a mean thing, is it? I never actually thought about it. Yetis and Bigfoot. I thought they kind of always just blurry photo kind of fellas. I didn't realize that we had to be afraid of them. Bear running away. Would you fight Bigfoot? Why? Why would I want to fight Bigfoot? I'd be like, cool, here's Bigfoot. Let's get a clear photo for the first time. Can we at least get one clear photo and maybe a video recording? I'd live stream it. That's what I'd do for you guys. I'd live stream Bigfoot. Later, Colby. Wait, what? Yeah, but you could not see the spider or the snake, but you can for sure see the bear. I'm pretty sure even though it's gonna be brutal, it's gonna be horrible. It's gonna be horrible to be poisoned by a snake, and your insides are, your blood's getting clotted and stuff, and you're having kind of strokes and heart attacks and shit, and it's the fear and stuff, miserable. But I would prefer that than being eaten by a fucking bear, which is beating me up, ripping me to shreds. I would much rather just having that go down. Yeah, just like, it'd be bad. Check it out, legends. I'm getting eaten alive here. This is true, Dr. Disrespectful. I went on a 3-week camping trip in northern Queensland in Australia, which has like all these crocodiles. And I camped for 3 weeks right beside those rivers. And I can tell you what, they were the 3 most sleepless weeks I've ever had in my life. I lay there just petrified every single night. Just like every time I heard a noise, I was just like, oh fuck, I'm gonna die. It is horrendous. It was horrendous. And you just look at them in the water, I'm just like, oh my god, kill me. How big is the spider? Could I squish it? I did assume... Kuranda? I'm not sure that. I had no idea to shake its head. Yo, so what were you doing, Ben? You went on a trip through the outback of Australia? Holy Jesus, no way. I ran into a snakes at a swimming hole, and there was a pack of 5 in the water swimming towards me, and my friend's shit was stupid. Are you being legit, dude? Because snakes in water is terrifying. I'm generally very relaxed with most animals, even the venomous ones and scary ones. I think that you're pretty safe. It's not that often humans get killed by these things. But something that is terrifying is snakes in water. They're ridiculously good swimmers. Humans are just suck at it. And the moment we're in water, we just suck. We have no idea what's going around. We can't see anything. We're like, and yeah, snakes, sea snakes and stuff, they're terrifying. I remember I was once on a jet ski in, what is it? French New Mia, the islands owned by the French. And I was on a jet ski, and it was the first time I was on a jet ski. I had my brother on my back, and we were just like rolling and rocking because jet skis are really weird. I grew up on motorbikes, and jet skis are like the polar opposite of motorbikes. They're really weird. Like a motorbike, to stop you rolling, you turn into it to kind of counterbalance, while a jet ski, if you're rolling, you turn away to rebalance. So a motorcycle rider hopping on jet ski is really like back to front. So we were both just like, whoa! And then a sea snake came up right beside us, and we fucking shat ourselves. It was terrifying. I was told if snakes open their mouth underwater, they choke and die. I haven't heard that. And maybe, but then they're very good swimmers. They always keep their head up. You're actually, now I think about it, land snakes are still very good swimmers, but they always have their head up. And Ben, repeating, Karen, oh, near Cairns and Port Douglas. Oh, okay. Very cool. I've actually been all through there. I probably have been then through there, because I've been through Port Douglas and Cairns. I love that part of the world. So beautiful. Oh, you've been right around the areas I've travelled through, Ben. A pet beaver. Yeah, I've had some good beavers back in my day, mate. Some phenomenal ones. Hey! 5 snakes in the water swimming towards you with their heads up. Colby, mate, I'm not going to lie. I've dealt with some crazy shit. I've been bitten. I've been attacked by animals and stuff. I've been chased by scary. I've had emus chase me. I've been stung by scorpions. I've had wild dogs being extremely threatening in the outback of Australia where like there's nowhere to run to. If I was in a lake where 5 snakes were swimming towards me, that's ranking right up there with one of the most terrifying experiences. You got no chance fighting an emu. No chance fighting an emu. But emus are really dumb. They're really dumb. They really just have a tiny little brain. It's not like I'm making fun of them. They just really do have a tiny brain. So they're kind of weird. So I've always had the different thoughts of, because I've been chased by emus and stuff. It's kind of just essentially just get behind a tree. Just make yourself out of sight, and they'll kind of be confused and then no longer really care. Mate, emus are like the raptors of the modern era. They literally have 3 claws and 1 like on the back, and they jump and scratch. Like, if you're like this, it doesn't matter. The thing's one of the fastest animals on Earth. And it has raptor claws. You're screwed. I'll give you an example. We had a farm manager back in the day. We had a farm manager back in the day who grew up on the land. He was an OG farm boy. He was on a motorbike and he was riding along, tearing along on a motorbike, and he heard doot, 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 turned around, and an emu ran him down and got him off the motorbike. Jumped, got him off the motorbike, and started attacking him. These bastards do not mess around. They are raptors. You're not punching an emu. Yeah, aren't you guys always giving us the examples that the Aussies lost the war on the emus? We lost the war and we had guns. Exactly. There you are, Caroline. You know what's funny? I never knew about this until Twitch. Twitch educated me about the war on emus. The British have shit guns. You know what? So I did a bit of research. You can go on, like, just do the war on emus or whatever, and there's a wiki article. I think they literally had, like, machine guns and stuff, because they brought them back from one of the world wars, and they really loaded up. They had military people. It's hilarious, because I'd never heard of this. I guess the Aussies tried to keep this embarrassment on the down low or something. We also weather, it's kind of prettier this way. We also kind of have a war on hogs. We call them like razorbacks and wild boar. Oh, Nessie, what are you doing, you cheeky one? Well, from my research, which was very limited, I'm no expert on the war, the history. If we have any history people here, you may have more knowledge, but from my knowledge, it wasn't really they couldn't penetrate. It's just some animals don't really get that affected until they're just dead. Like I said, a snake. You can behead a snake and it will keep on trying to attack. An emu is kind of like you can injure it and stuff, and it's going to keep on trying to move around and run away. They're just kind of dumb. They're not even aware of what's going on, really. So I suspect that they loaded them up with bullets, but they could still last for a long time just running around until they eventually bled out. And then second of all, they're not necessarily the easiest target. They move fast, They're highly erratic. They don't hang around necessarily in groups. They do sometimes congregate, but they can split up. They don't really have much loyalty to one another. They have a long, skinny neck, which would be almost impossible to hit. So they're kind of just like, and they're super good at camouflage, very good at camouflage. So they kind of weren't the easiest animal to just get. Still have a fiance? Jesus Christ. Felix, what have I told you about, Felix? Mate. I'm always concerned. I'm always thinking about, like, okay, how can I get cancelled in the future? I need to be a good boy kind of thing. But then, who is that guy? Who's one of the most, or is now the most subscribed guy? What's his face? His mods were like, he got kind of like in trouble and stuff because his mods were being cheeky behind the lines. His mods were trying to charge people to get unbanned. I need my mods to be on good behavior, Felix. You are like engaged. No, not XQC. There's a other guy. You're like engaged or going to be. You can't be out here flirting and getting your affairs being done all publicly. Jesus Christ, look at these two. It's like sick. I can be your mod. Jesus Christ, mate. Yeah, that's right. I suppose I think that's also what I read about the reason why it began. You are here a decent amount. That is true. No, that is true. But I also feel like it could be a little tricky. Usually our mods, Felix is an exception to the rule, but he managed to find out a loophole. I was young and ignorant back then. Usually, like the whole community needs to be like, hey, you're a person I respect and admire and stuff. Like Jerry's like a physiotherapist who's very knowledgeable, and Cecil's an absolute sweetheart, and as like she's like a manager of a whole business and things. She's like the mum of the family. Lots of people like me in here. Lots of people do know you. I guarantee you are known in here. That is for sure. You are known. Jesus. Nessie's moving on to the next one. You need the good cop, bad cop. Trust me, Felix absolutely embraces the bad cop. He does a phenomenal job at that. Nessie, how do you move so quick? Damn. I'm relatable as fuck with that. I too hate Spoachie. There it is. He's the bad cop. Why are you laughing, Ness? That's not funny, Ness. Oh, my ass. My sweet, sweet ass. Oh. I've modded before. No worries, Felix. Felix, now, dream of me, not Ness, alright? When you're in the shower, think of me, not Nessie, alright? It's inappropriate to think of Nessie. But I'll allow you to think of me. I don't doubt it, no. I don't doubt it. But then also, I would say that in general, mods don't have the best reputation on social media, you know? A lot of people kind of have this issue with mods. The mods get kind of power hungry. They kind of start to abuse that power. So I don't know necessarily if a person had been in mod, whether that would still convince me that they were a good mod. Yeah, because I heard from you. Blaming you. Have fiance. Loyal man, Ness. The worst, right? Loyal. People with morals. The worst. I get it, Ness. When I get to a full month watch time, could VIP considered? See, the thing is, Nolly, the VIP is kind of like, there's many elements of it, many elements. And yes, there have been people who've achieved it in different ways. For example, like Indy, right? He has a VIP. One day I will be back. Banger, you better be back tomorrow when I'm streaming. He provides phenomenal advice. He's highly supportive of our community. He looks after people. People are sort of excited because they can learn from Indy and improve their life. I've been here 10 years and he refused to talk to me. Hi, Gawky, nice to meet you. Good to meet you, man. While you rip on a lot of our community members, I don't know if like it's the best look for like you to have the VIP and then be getting in like fights with people or ripping on them. No, I don't. Oh, okay, fair enough. Yes, you do. See? I rip on you. Well, you've had disputes in the past. Does being an Aussie count as being VIP? It definitely has its benefits. Yeah, what the fuck is that about? Tell me about it, Spoach. Ness, I know it's brutal. I can't tell if he's talking about me or not, to be honest. What are you talking about? Gawky, you come in here while I'm like currently in a conversation and you're like, is he talking about me? You just came out of nowhere. No, I'm not talking about you. Ness will talk to you. In the means of production. I prefer Milo. Ah, that's funny. I didn't actually even Nesquik, huh? I never even thought about it. Nesquik. Yeah, Nesquik is very sweet, isn't it? Nesquik lives up to their name because Nesquik is very sweet. I used to like Nesquik, but then yeah, Milo really is just not as rich. Don't eat me or my family. Ooh, okay, fine, fair enough. Okay, now. With one of the common things with my VIPs is not one of them ever repetitively requested the VIP. That was one of the things which gave them extra bonus points because I was like, okay, they've been very loyal, they've been very supportive, they seem like very good people, but they also don't have like just the expectation that stuff is owed. So I will consider your thing, your offer. You used to like me? Used to? Spoachie? Ness. It's not like that. Anyway, Ness, you're going to move on. You'll find someone's more suitable for you anyway. Red dress. Camera quality. Good? Do we rate it? Good quality? I appreciate you, Noel. You seem to think that I don't appreciate you. I do. You're an OG. That was not me farting. That was a kid over there farting. Jesus. My man just... What kind of shower was that, man? You just like... I mean, I'm proud of you, water-wise, apparently. It looks like a green screen? Oh, cool. The building looks fake? Ah, the old hall wash. Chat taught me about that. Hall wash. I didn't even know it had a name, but I love it. And now Chloe and I use it all the time. Chloe and I use it all the time. We'll say, I need a shower, but I'm too lazy. I'm going to do a hall wash. It's the best. Well, I'm happy to hear that you guys are enjoying my stream quality. I do what I can. I do what I can. Why does this stream feel so... Is this still working? Okay, I actually... Back in the day, that was more relevant. It's less relevant now. Benny boy. Benny. Mate, I really appreciate you, man. Really. And you're so new. Don't need VIP. That sounds like reverse psychology. All right, I'm going to VIP you now, you dirty little dog. No, Benny, I really appreciate that, man. You're so new to our community and you've been giving in wonderful vibes, man. So I really appreciate the support. I've got a fat ass. Respect. Hall wash. It's a goodie, isn't it? It's so good, a hall wash. Creek dip could work too. That's true. It could. The only thing is, I like the thought of a hall wash because you may not just be washing your genitals. You could also need to wash like your mouth or something, depending what took place in your hoariness. Depends who I'm talking to. Depends how much they put out. Ben, thank you so much for the support, man. We's called it a whore bath in my household. Wait, but how do you have a whore's bath? Are you actually taking a bath? I'm sure you do. Not bigger. Wait. Not bigger than Felix. God damn. Yo, are you like DMing these people, Felix? Felix is definitely sending some cheeky nudes around in this community. Man, I need to become a mod. I need to become a mod of this community. Do you see what happens to my mods, Noel? That's the other thing, man. I can't have you being a mod. Look what happens. They become like the Giga Chads of the community, and they're all this like chicks are hitting on them, guys are hitting on them. It's just a wild fest of inappropriateness up in here. Nudes for VIP. For shame. Twitch, Jailer said that, not me. I did not say that. I did not imply it. Jailer, stop trying to get me fucking banned off this platform, mate. I have not made my money yet. I actually have more food. I've been sitting on my... I finished my sweet potato and chicken, and I just realized I actually have a massive bag of rice. Look at this huge block of rice still here. Oh, absolutely. If you're ever going to tank top it, it's got to be chest day. What's the point of having a tank top if you're not wearing it on chest day? Can we just take a moment to throw a little celebration for our man Benny Boy, who's been helping support our community? Thank you, Benny. Benny, people like you help keep this community alive and growing. You're a legend, man. Appreciate you. Cleo. Lovely view, isn't it? The sun is setting, or set in the background. Hintali, what's going on, legend? I don't wear tank tops because of my tan line at my shoulders. You mean you currently have a tan line? What's a chest and how do I get one? Banger. Mate, it's a very simple process. First, you join this community, you follow, then you subscribe, and then the world's your oyster. Then you start to realize how quickly your boobies are going to grow. Sally, what's going on, legend? My nipples are out there. Wow. No worries, Ben. Catch you around, mate. Thank you again for the support, dude. Have a great sleep. Have you not heard the stories, Noel? Have you not seen the stories? Like every day, Sally comes in talking about like the girls in his life. Sally literally is inundated. You should see the DM Sally sends me. Yeah, you should see the DM Sally sends me. He's got so many baddies, it's ridiculous. And I'm not kidding. Like, Sally is so popular. Yo, what's going on, Farwood? How you doing, legend? Welcome into the family. Thanks so much for follow. What brings you here? Hey, Noel. See that follow? See the pop-up, Noel? Oh, it's gone now. Did you see it, dude? Remember how you said like a few weeks ago, you're like, why don't you have these pop-ups? And I said, I've always had them. But then that glitch happened. Did you see that one? It's back. I guess it's just me then. Well, I mean, I'm doing what I can, man. I'm doing what I can. I say the things that I think work and what will be beneficial and stuff, and then you seem to ignore it, rip into me, and then say, why am I not successful? Okay, well, I tried. I'm doing all right. Got involved in my first 48-hour crime-style story yesterday when I woke up at 5:30 p.m. because one of my co-workers went missing for 3 days, and we thought his mystery boyfriend killed him and dumped his